Okay, the last element that we're going to look at for this small section is going to be mass. So mass is the amount of pattern or objects in a space. So basically it's going to be how crowded or empty a space can appear. So if you look at the picture on the left, we have a very, very high mass space. We have tons of forms in there, different types of forms. It's very cluttered, even though the windows seem to kind of make it look a little bit more open. Picture on the right, it's the exact opposite. It's considered to be a low mass, where there's a ton of open space. It's got a huge window that's not broken up by any frames or anything in between it, like this area through here versus these three are three separate windows. You have big open space through here, very simple light colors. So that's considered to be a low mass. So let's find the difference between the two. So a high mass is going to be a space that is visually crowded. So for example, it could be fabric that has a lot of patterns or lines or designs on it. That could also be a lot of different furniture in a space as well. So it can communicate to be a little full, packed, cluttered, very formal, very heavy, and just a lot going on. It's very clustered. So if you look at the photo on the left, as cool as all the different types of furniture are, and it's definitely using more earth tones as the color, which is really great, but there's a lot going on with the background behind it being what appears to be like an aerial view over a city. So it's a lot of patterns, there's a lot going on in there. There's really no single focus point of that entire room. So that's what would be considered high mass. Now, if you look at high mass when we're talking in the terms of patterns or designs of furniture, we're looking at like these four chairs right here. All of these are higher mass chairs. It's the exact same chair with just the different types of patterns on there. They're all cluttered, they're all very busy for such a small size chair. So that's a high mass furniture. This is a high mass space. To the right, this is also a high mass space. So it's got tons of different furniture, tons of different colors in there. You can't really fully tell that you're actually walking through a couple of different rooms and there's a mini hallway in there because the depth behind it is really what's messing it up. You can only tell that there's multiple rooms in there. It's not all just one solid wall because you actually have the rugs that lead back to the other room. So you want to be really careful whenever you are really kind of playing around with mass. If you're going to go high mass, there's a way to do it tastefully. There's also a way to ruin it very quickly. So keep in mind that high mass tends to be very packed and very cluttered, which mental side of it is that means your brain can be very packed and cluttered and can really just seem very busy when you don't want it to be. So the opposite of high mass is going to be low mass. So this is a space that is simple and sparse that only uses essentials. So these low mass rooms are going to be in like the functionalism type houses where everything really has a purpose or has a function. So the great part behind it is that it communicates a very clean and airy, open feelings. Um, the thing is though that sometimes it's not always inviting for people to want to come in. When you come into this room, you're not necessarily wanting to plop down on the bed if you're just a guest. There is a small little couch over here that's kind of very formal, very stiff, but that's where you would tend to go sit. So this room, as great as it is, just may not be the most inviting ever. However, um, it could be very much the person's personality that the room is. They're very open, they're very neat and tidy. They like some soft and comfortable things, but for the most part, they like to kind of just keep everything out in the open. Over here on the left, it's a little boring in there. That could be great if they're wanting to sell this house because it really lets potential buyers see how great and open the space can be. But it's just very boring. So they could always add like a big like a pattern rug in here and keep everything solid. They could add a piece of artwork on this back wall and really make the space kind of more inviting, I guess, more busy without overdoing it.